Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a good day. In today's video, we're going to be talking about tile maps and tile sets as well. They go hand in hand with each other. So if you like today's video, please like and subscribe if you like my content. If you do have a question about what I'm talking about today, or just any other question about programming in GODOT in general, please leave that comment down below. So let's just get started. So it's pretty simple and easy. All we're going to do is we're going to go to our level 1 scene that I have set up, and we're going to add a child. Go to Tilemap. You want to make sure you type that in. Once you have Tilemap selected, go over to the Tileset, which shows the parameters of empty. We're just going to click New Tileset. Then we're going to click that new Tileset again. It should pop up with this. And we're going to drag in our tile set, which is basically just an image. We're going to drag it in to the panel here. We're going to make sure we have selected what we're going to use, and then we're going to go over to the top here with these 3 pluses. So when you're creating a new tile map, you have to press one of these pluses. So the single tile is just how many pixels. Basically, if it's 32 by 32, it's going to be that 32 by 32 image that you have in that 32 by 32. It could also be a 16 by 16, or an 8 by 8, or an 8 by 10, or 16 by 32. Whatever it is, that's your single tile. And then the new auto tile is what we're going to be doing here. So let's just select that. So this new auto tile is basically giving the computer, giving GODOT a set of images that we have in front of us here, and we're going to tell it what we're trying to shape it. It will make sense as we start doing it, but we're going to go with the new auto tile. So we're going to select it, and now we have our region. So to get this region, we're going to click and just drag to make sure we have all of our images selected. And then once you have your region, you can then get the snap options and selected tile. You want to make sure you have your regions before you get this stuff on the right here. So on the snap options, you want to look at your step. You want to make sure your step, the X and Y, is the same as your the same pixels as each image you have here. Mine is 32 by 32, so I'm okay. I don't need to change it, but you might, for like 16 by 16 or 64 by 64, those are generally the other ones that other people use. And then down in selected tile, you also want to look at subtitle size. Now, you can use this one. This one is less used, but it's more used in your collisions tab, which is basically like the collision shape 2D for a body, but instead it's the collision shape 2D for a tile map. So the subtitle size, here let's just do 16 by 16 so you can see. Now we have a ton more green squares. So I'll just show you. We have our region here. We're just going to click and drag, and you can still see that it's showing up onto the purple lines instead of the single tile 16 ones. So then we're going to let's go to the collision first. You can see that we can actually select those 16 by 16 instead of the 32 by 32. So that's what the subtitle size does. It's mainly used for the collision. So I'm going to reset those, and I'm going to make sure my region's all right. There we go. Now let's move on to the collisions tab. So I'm just going to use the 32 by 32, keeping it nice and simple here. But this part's not going to be very fun because it is very tedious. So there's no real good way of going to do this. So we're going to select our tile here. We're going to go up under the collisions tab, and you see this square here, or rectangle, whatever GODOT wants to call it, and you just select it and select your square again. Now I've been doing this for quite a while. I've gotten a rhythm down so far. And the rhythm I've gotten is you want to make sure you have a tile that doesn't have the collision on it. You want to make sure it's selected, hit the square again, and then double tap a rectangle that doesn't have it. So double tap, then hit the square, double tap, hit the square, double tap, hit the square. You want to make sure you just keep on doing this over and over again. I'm going to not have you guys watch this because it is very tedious work. So I will be right back once this is done. And look at that. We are now done with our collision. And if you want to actually, you can set them up like this, and then you can select the individual ones and drag these dots around to make them even slimmer and shape them the way you want it to. Now we're not going to do the collision or navigation. We're going to move on to the Bitmask. Now before we start on our Bitmask, for tiles like these, we want to go over to the selected tile tab, and we're going to go down all the way to AUTOTILE Bitmask. We're going to select it, and we're going to go 3x3 minimal. Now, I'll be honest, I have no idea what this means, but I know that the 3x3 creates three squares, a 3x3 square in each of these 32x32 tiles. Now, this is basically us saying, hello GODOT, we want to make it shape this way. Now you'll see it much better and later in the video when we're actually making it, but this is basically us creating the basics for what we want this flooring to look like. So we're going to make sure it's 3x3 minimal, and we're going to just start bitmasking. So if you want to select like what the engine should be looking at, you want to left click and you'll see a red dot. To get rid of this red dot, you want to just right click. And you can just hold this down, and you can just hold it down and drag, and you can erase it just like that. So this one is the most common one you're actually going to see throughout all auto tiles. It's very simple, very easy. We're just going to get started with this little box, and I will come back when I'm finished. It's a little tedious as well, but it's actually much quicker, and I've done this a lot, so I know what I'm doing with it. I messed up. There we go. I know what I'm doing. So I'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. If you need to look at this, just pause the video, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do. This is basically the most used auto tile sets that everyone really uses. This is the most basic one. And this one you're going to need to keep and remember. After every now and then, after so many, you'll actually start to remember this. I'm not trying to brag, but I have done this a lot, and I know this now. When making this video, I know it now. So if you've paused and take a picture, that's great. We're going to move on now. So we're going to skip over priority, and we're going to go to icon. This one you don't really need to do anything, but it can be helpful for certain auto tiles, like this one. It doesn't need it as much, but I like to just use the one that has for the Bitmask. It's all red. Like there's no spot where it's empty. It's all red. I like to use that icon. So we just select that icon, and that's it. So let's just Control S and save that. And we're going to click again on our Tilemap, and you can see over on the right panel, this is where we can see all of our different single tiles, auto tiles, ads. And you can see that we are not snapping correctly. So what we're going to want to do is actually go further right than this panel to cell. We're going to select the cell, and it's going to expand, and we're going to go right to size, right below it. We're going to go 32, 32. Now you can see that it is snapping correctly. And now we're just gonna place it down. And you can see that it is working just fine. Findy dandy. Just like that. So it's basically how you place these down is basically the exact same way you did with the Bitmask, where you have the left mouse being the click, the place, and then the right being the erase. So we're going to erase these real quick, and we're just going to get rid of these floors. So we're just going to select our floor node and just delete it. Gone forever. Bye-bye. And we're going to replace them with our new Bitmask, our new Tileset, our new Tilemap, and we're going to play the scene. Now you can see that since there is a collision, we can clearly walk on them and run into them. We can't. Yep. And that's tile maps and tile sets. Pretty simple and easy. Now you see when we do jump in the air that our character is glitching a little bit. We're actually going to go fix that right now. I did mention it in the last video, but I did forget. So we're going to go into our player script, and right where we have it, where is it? Right. All right. So right here in our .play idle, we're actually going to delete this else and say if velocity dot x equals 0 and is on floor, we will then play the animation of idle. So we're going to save that. And now you can see that we are in the idle. And once we start moving, you can see that we're running. Once we start jumping, you don't see any glitches. Oh, maybe not. Huh. You know, it's probably because of how we have it set up. But I won't bore you with this stuff. I'll leave it up to me later to figure this out. But thank you for sticking around for this long. This has been Ben Jammin from Jam Studios.